over 60 distinct ethnic communities in Kenya. Each has its own traditional leadership structure. The Maasai community has been successful at preserving traditional leadership functions in spite of modern influences.
Maasai leadership is devolved. We have never had a central kind of government, apart from the spiritual leadership that is centralized. The other kind of leadership, that is the elders' leadership, is all devolved into places called Nkutoto. Nkutoto has small sections, small villages. Each village has got its own setup of leaders, and they only coalesce when they have got a major decision to make that affects the entire location or the entire section of the Maasai.
Generally, the role of leadership in Maasai land is to guide, to advise, and to prepare and ground young people, to prepare them in order to face the future with confidence. So basically, it's all about bringing people together. And if I may extend also, in terms of hardship, of course, leadership comes in, intervenes, depending on the nature of the problem that has occurred, but also in terms of day-to-day life, bringing people together, making sure that everybody understands their roles and they behave or they work in tandem with laid down cultural procedures.
We are governed by a constitution, unwritten constitution. Even laws and rules are all formulated in that constitution, and then that is what is used to govern the entire people of the Maasai.
There are several leaders in Maasai land which is passed from generation to generation. Maasais are divided in the age sets. Each age set has a leader, not one leader, but 4 leaders who play different roles in certain stages, because we are looking at a leader who can articulate issues affecting them, and we are also looking at a leader who is like a very special person within the community, who is going to be, who will be looked upon to give advice, not really publicly, but in there is a cultural setup that leader uses to, bring the people together.
The Maasai consider life as organized in 5 stages, each marked by unique rite of passage.
The stages in life are: number 1 is Ngevara, which brings all young people together, young boys between ages of 13 to 16 together within the whole community, thousands of them, in one cultural manyata to be prepared for circumcision. You really have to come into one big manyata, all of you, and you are taken, you are taught. You sit with elders every other day, and you are really taught of what the community will expect of you from that stage into the future. And once they are prepared and they go out to be circumcised, they all go to the bush and become warriors. And as an warrior, you're like an army. The community looks upon you to defend them. After being an warrior for several years, then all of you are again brought back into the second stage, called the Unoro, which marks the end of being an official warrior. Because then that means then the other very young boys are also growing, and they need to be prepared to be warriors. So you need to live, because you're getting a little bit older, and give the others a chance. The third stage is Ngangongiri, which is a stage where all the same young people of the same age set are again brought together within another big cultural manyata to be blessed, for their sticks to be blessed. Maasais are pastoralists, so they use sticks to look after their cattle. And so they are brought again back to be blessed, the sticks to be blessed that they used to look after their cattle, meaning that now they are growing to be elders, and they need to have their families, and they need to have their property, The property is livestock. So you bless this, the elders bless the stick so that whenever you use it to look after your cattle, then you have the good luck. You get the good luck from, and of course the blessing from the elders. The fourth stage involves bringing the same age set together. And I mean, when I say the same age, it's the one that started the initiation. I mean, all of them are brought together for the fourth time. These are people, young people who are not required to eat meat that has been seen or touched by women. Meaning that as a young person and as a person who is looked upon to defend the community, you're not supposed to stay closer to women most of the times, because they believe that a young person becomes weak by staying closer to women all the time. So that's part of you being discouraged from being closer to women. And when that fourth stage comes, you're all brought together again, because now you've grown up, most of you have married, and now it's time to bring you closer to your family, to your wives. And you go through rituals, you and your wife, of being a family. And through rituals, you are now able to stay together, eat meat that has been seen by a woman. Your wife can cook, can do anything for you, because then from there you are old and you only have one stage left before you graduate to being a junior elder. And by that, then it means you should be closer to everybody, not only to your wife, but also to other members of the society. And the fifth and final stage in life is called Rengeshar. And Rengeshar, these young people of the same age set are brought again together as grown-up people, and again prepared now to go out and also serve as elders. You see, because all these years, as you went through these 5 stages, the very senior elders, some of their age set also died, because they keep on becoming older and older. So they keep on replacing the leadership. The young, fresh blood comes up and the other one goes out. So they are brought together and now blessed, go through very strong rituals and blessed to be junior elders. And at that stage, that's the stage where you're given instruments of power. Like, for example, the most symbolic one is a traditional stool that is handed to each and every young elder. And that means with a stool, most of the times, and even if right now you go to real Maasai Manyata, when the cattle are going out in the morning or coming in the evening, an elder is always seated next to the gate, looking at his cows passing in or out. So it's that stool that you'll be using to sit Tandaloishi, we call it Tandaloishi, next to the gate as your property, your cows and goats go out or come in the evening.
Leadership among the Maasai is organized around age sets and assigned specific roles within the community.
Laiguanani is one of the persons, and this is a person who is supposed to articulate things or issues affecting the community. But we also have a leader called who is anointed in the first stage of life, which is called Engebara. And this is when young boys are brought together to be prepared for circumcision. You know, they go through the process of learning and sharing and, you know, and be taught about the community values, the cultural values. So the third leader is Olotuno, who is also anointed by elders. And that is also another leader who is not really supposed to articulate issues, but work culturally. He actually serves as a symbol of unity within that particular age set. And whenever anything is wrong and he's called to intervene, then everybody is supposed to listen to him and be very obedient to him. Because sometimes things may run out of hand, and you know, several attempts to like bring things in order would fail. But once the Olotuno is brought in, then of course things must have to, people must have to listen to him and must have to respect him.
Leaders are selected in a unique way among the Maasai.
With Maasai, leadership actually is not sought. Nobody vies for a position. In fact, it's the reverse. Nobody wants to be a leader in Maasai because it robs one his freedom. Because once you become a leader, you are not supposed to do certain things that young men want to do. You will not, for example, you will not fight, you will not quarrel, you will not go for cattle raids. You will not even go for animal hunting, like when they go to fight to kill lions. So he's precluded from so many things, and nobody wants to because the joy is to be free to do all those things, and therefore to be a leader sort of puts you down. You know, it removes you from all that joy, and in fact, a young man becomes an old man immediately.
They look at purity. They try to look at really purity. Although these are human beings and they might not really necessarily have to reach at 100% purity, but they try to look at the real pure person who has never done a crime, who has never done a crime in terms of stealing, for example, beating others, being arrogant, you know, and also the background of your family, the background of your father. They go back into the roots of your family. Not only the immediate family, like your father and mother, but your extended family, your great-great-grandfathers and grandmothers as well.
Leadership actually is mentored from even when the boys are still young boys. And because Maasai society is a neat society, people know one another from the beginning. They, when children are being brought up, they are not being brought up by just a family that beget a child. Leadership, the bringing up of children is done by the entire families. In fact, by the entire society. So they come to know the character of a child even when the child is still very, very young. So they predict, they see a young man, a young boy growing and say, this is a likely boy to become a leader. So they mentor him from the beginning, and as he grows up, elders will continue spying on him, looking at him. Even as he goes looking after cattle, they'll just say, this boy is likely to be, in the way he behaves, the way he presents himself to the elders, he looks as if he's a person who can be mentored to become a leader. In Maasai leadership, I think the qualities that are very important. First of all, is eloquence, self-expression, because this is, Maasai actually is a debating society. They talk a lot, they talk about their issues. So one who is able to express himself, to present issues in a way that is understood by others, scores to start with. And then integrity. And then they look at the whole person, even the way he looks, whether he has got say if you are one-legged, you can't be a leader. So they look at a person, he must be whole, he must be without blemishes. So they look at him, they follow him until the time when now the need for leadership begins, and that is when boys become about to be circumcised, become warriors. That is actually when they become warriors, that is the time they now say this is a time to select a leader.
After the recent anointing ceremony of an age-set leader in Kajiado South, the newly installed deputy chief talked about his role in working with the chief.
Kwa upande wa kazi, kama iboma sasa, kama inikisa ende mahali fulani, anajua already amemwachia usukani assistant wake. Hana wasiwasi kwa sababu anajua mimi niko nyumbani. Kazi tunaandamana kufanya naye. Hakuna yule amemwacha mwingine. Kama ni watu wamekaa kwa kompyuta na hakuna yule ameacha mwingine. Tumerudi tukikaa kufanya kazi pamoja, tukiandamana ndio kazi iende sambamba.
na hiyo imewaweka Wamasai discipline ya kutosha. Akiona mzee akiingia ama wewe sasa ukiingia, kijana anaamka mara moja na kupatia kiti, anaenda kusimama, ama kuona anakukimbilia kukusalimia. Ukiona sasa kama watoto wa boma wa Masai wakiona wazee wameingia, wote wanakimbia wanasalimia kwa kiti. Hiyo ndio discipline ambayo Wamasai imeweka, na hiyo ndio chief wa Warani anahakikisha kwamba hiyo discipline imekuwa maintain, imekaa sawa. Kwa hiyo ndio kazi kubwa ya chief, kuzuia wengine wasifanye maovu na kuwaonyesha ile njia ambayo watafanya. Na wazee pia wakitaka kuongea na Warani, si lazima waende kwa Warani wote eti waongee nao. Wanamuita tu chief, anasema sisi wazee tumesema hivi na hivi na hivi, na anaenda na wanasema tumeongea na Warani. Ni kazi ya huyo chief kuwaita Warani na aseme wazee wamesema hivi na ni hivyo itafuatwa. Basi inakuwa namna hiyo. Na hiyo ndio maana ya sherehe. Na sababu ya kuleta watu kuingiza ama kuchinja ng'ombe, kuweka sherehe kubwa namna hiyo, kwanza ni sherehe ambayo inafanywa once for 10 years. Ya pili ni kila mtu identify, ajue kwamba fulani amekuwa chief, kwa sababu anafaa kuheshimiwa na kila rika. Sasa kila mtu akikutana, chief anamsalimia, na hata kama ni mzee akija, huyo kijana akija, hata mimi akinikuta ninakaa kwa kiti kwa sababu ni chief, na muamkia nampa kwa sababu is a leader na mheshimu. Kwa hiyo hiyo ndio process ama sababu ya kuwa na hiyo sherehe kubwa sana. Kwa hiyo tukiona juzi serikali imefutiwa na hiyo mila yetu, tukaona mpaka serikali yote, mpaka president alikuja hapa, alitamani kuona ile utamaduni wetu vile inakaa. Na ni utamaduni ambayo kusema kweli mpaka hata saa hii tukiona sehemu zingine inapotea, tuna regret, tunasikia mbaya, kwa sababu ukikuta mahali ingine ambayo watu hawana heshima.
Ile wewe ina jenga moro kwa sana loma hanya galoni na marano yelo na onjo yela na sida yana me sida epuido aka ngorang kule wewe rimpokin kake ngorari ake siro ni taljani na keara roil tungana tana miara
wewe nguni nairume yake na ngorari ake ngani sida yelo airoro yelo ariko tungana na kuna ile tungani yelo rara onyara tungana pokna ake sida. Ai sidai na gero male tokul mare wale ramala la yumu na gidi hegelo ara na iri na gen era wala tidan.
Leaders are not elected as such. They are anointed after close observation and vetting by the community.
Before the anointment is done, a thorough vetting normally takes place, and it's elders who do that. And I keep on saying anointing because it's different from electing, for example. An anointment is a process that elders must have to sit down, not in one meeting, not in 2 meetings, and not in 3 meetings, but for about a couple of years, looking at you and your family, the person who is going to be anointed. They choose several, of course, from the general perspective, but they go again and mirror on one particular person. Looking at the qualities. First of all, your oratory, for example, and but most importantly, the background in your family. Who are your parents? How did they behave, right, when they were young as well? Who are your extended family, for example? How do they behave? Are they cooperative people within the society? In as much as our constitution or laws allow us to elect, let us go for real people. Let us vet people before we elect them to any office, particular offices. Because this is why we are failing as countries right now. Because we elect people, you just elect a person from nowhere. You know, a person who doesn't have experience in leadership, a person who doesn't even care what happens, provided that he or she has ascended to leadership, then he or she is just there for him or herself. We have a lot of people with a lot of leadership qualities in this country who will lead, because we elect leaders to lead us to the next level in life. Be it cultural leaders, be it political leadership or whatever leadership. We elect them to lead us the next level. So we need to look at the qualities the way the Maasai look at before anointing their leaders.
Now we are them going to live in la